Hello, I'm Simon from Fisks, and this is another Fisks Talks on video. Today we're going to be discussing surveys. So surveys are carried out by buyers. They're something for a buyer to do in order to know what they're purchasing. There are three types of survey: a mortgage valuation survey, a home buyer's report, and what we tend to call a full structural. Now, the mortgage valuation survey, this is really on behalf of the banks. It's not for you. It's for the benefit of the banks, although you do pay for it. Price-wise, some mortgages will throw them in for free, but they're around about the £250 mark. They're there to protect the bank's interests so that what they're lending against, they know that there's something there to protect them, so if the market falls, they can get their money back. Because of the price and because they're just to protect the bank, you really don't get any coverage in terms of what's going on with the property as the buyer. And with COVID, some of these mortgage valuations are actually done what we call desktop or online. So the surveyor is really just looking at Google Earth and looking at the portals and making their judgment based on house sales. They're not actually even entering the property. It's very, very basic, but it will give you a valuation, which is there to protect the bank, as I said, but it will give you an idea of if you're paying the right money as a buyer. Second one is what we call home buyer's report. Now, this is the most common. One of the things that you can do is you can talk to your mortgage broker and ask the home buyers to be built into the mortgage valuation. This will just speed up the process so you don't have to book into surveyors. It's something that a lot of people don't do. It's much more beneficial, and you can just pay the difference and turn your mortgage vow into a home buyer's report. So the home buyer's report is actually on your behalf. So the report is yours, and you do pay for it, and they're about £600 to £800. The home buyer's report will look at structural things. So this will never be done online or over a desktop, as they say, and they will look at structural things such as roof, windows, walls, drains, tiles, things like that. They will never look at gas and electricity. So just bear that in mind. A really good report on a home buyer's survey doesn't mean that it's got a fantastic sort of modern electrics. One of the reasons that it's so popular is it has a very simple traffic light system. So just a set, very simple red, amber and green. If the report's got a green colour next to it, everything's fine. If it's amber, it just means it's fine today, but perhaps in the medium sort of like 3 to 5 years, it might need to be looked at. Red, of course, means it needs to be looked at now. Because they don't look at gas and electric, those will be red. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them, it just means you need to get a gas engineer to actually look at it, or an electrician. It will have a valuation in it, so it will give you an idea of whether you're paying too much or not. But it's not going to look at anything that's not visible. So a lot of home buyers reports, they won't be moving a washing machine or going into a loft or anything like that. It's just based on what they can see. They tend to have binoculars so they can see your roof, and they will, as I say, go into the property, but they're not really going to move anything around or investigate anything. Third one is the full structural. They're quite rare in this area because a lot of our properties are relatively new. They're specifically used for very old properties. People would be talking sort of like 70 years or older, and if it's been heavily modified or it's quite a quirky property. Now, the full structural will look at everything the home buyers looks at, and also anything that's not visible. So they will be looking at not only what's wrong, but also perhaps where the cause is. So things like wet rot and dry rot and things like that. They will go into lofts. They will be looking at all the plumbing behind washing machines. They will be looking at drainage, and you can even have things like soil samples, and they can even sort of start to try and look at the footings by sort of digging out holes and things. So they can be very, very comprehensive. Some will charge extra for an actual valuation because what they're really providing is a report on the property and not a valuation, but you can ask for that and they will build it in. It's of course paid for you, the buyer. It's your reports. In this area, they tend to be sort of around about £800 to £1,000, maybe a bit more if it's a rather large property. And most of these surveys that I've discussed will be carried out by a RICS surveyor. That's a Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. So that's kind of the basics that you need to know about the 3 types of survey. Thank you.